Hi, I'm Susan Kennedy of Pretty Peaceful, and today I'm going to show you how to finish your Happy Hours blanket. You can find the full written pattern PDF for the Happy Hours blanket on Ravelry, Lovecrafts, and Etsy. And you can also find it in my Pretty Peaceful People group on Facebook for free in the files section. So if you're not already in the group, go ahead and join. There's lots of free patterns in the files. So today I'm going to show you how to make the half hexagon. If you haven't watched the video of how to make the full hexagon yet, go ahead and watch that first. Go back and watch that now. That video shows how to make the full hexagon as well as how to join the hexagons together using the yarn tails and mattress stitch. So today we're going to make the half hexagon, and it's very similar to the regular hexagon. And this is just to use to fill in the edges of your blanket, where we have these spaces between hexagons, and that gives your long edges of your blanket a nice straight edge. So just like the regular hexagon, I'm using mandala scraps and a 5mm hook, Lion Brand Mandala yarn here. And you can save your really tiny little scraps for the half hexagon because, especially for this first round, they hardly use any yarn. So we're going to start the same way we started the full hexagon. We're going to make a slip knot and put the yarn on the hook, chain 4, and slip stitch to form a ring. And now we're going to crochet into this ring. We'll start with either a chain 3 or a chainless starting double crochet. I prefer the chainless starting double crochet. And if you not familiar with this technique, just do a chain 3 or go back and watch the first Happy Hours hexagon video to learn how to do that. Now we're going to make 3 double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to make the first corner, chain 2 to make the corner. Now we will double crochet 3 times. 1, 2, 3 double crochets into the ring. Now we're going to make the second corner, chain 2, and finally 4 double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's it for round 1. We can cut our yarn and fasten off. So round 1 has basically 4 double crochets, including that starting chain 3. And we have a corner where we chain 2, 3 double crochets, a corner where we chain 2, and then 4 more double crochets. Now we'll start round 2. Pick a new color of yarn and attach it on your hook with a slip stitch. And we're going to attach the yarn for round 2 in between the first and second stitches of round 1. Kind of in that space between the first 2 stitches, or the space between your chain 3 and the rest of your double crochets here. So attach the yarn into that space with a slip stitch. And then you can either chain 3 or chainless starting double crochet. Okay, and then we are going to work 2 more double crochets into that same space. That space between the first and second stitches of round 1. Great. And just like the round 2 of the full hexagon, in round 2 here, we're only working into these chain 2 spaces and then into that little space in between the first and second stitches. So we're going to make a cluster of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So there's our first 3 double crochets. Now chain 2 and 3 double crochets into that same space to form a corner. Okay, so now we have a corner with 2 clusters of 3 double crochets in this chain 2. We're going to do the same thing in this corner. I'm going to crochet over my end for convenience here. So 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets into that same space. Okay, there's our second corner done. And finally, we're going to put a cluster of 3 double crochets into this space between the second to last stitch and the last stitch of round 2. So just stick your hook in there and 3 double crochets. Okay, that's it for round 2. Let's cut our yarn and fasten off. Great, so we have this little cluster of double crochets on each side, and then 2 clusters of 3 double crochets in each corner. So let's start round 3. Just like round 3 of the full hexagon, this one is going to be worked into the double crochet stitches themselves instead of into the chain 2 spaces. So this time we're going to attach the yarn into the first stitch of round 2. So either the chain 3 or the chainless starting double crochet. Attach the yarn with a slip stitch. And either chain 3 or chainless starting double crochet. Okay, and now we're going to double crochet into that same stitch again. So 2 double crochets into that first stitch, the equivalent of 2, including that chain 3. Now we're going to crochet into the next 5 stitches here, into the next 5 double crochet stitches. 1 double crochet into each stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we'll create a corner. And the corner is going to be double crochet, chain 2, double crochet into that chain 2 space. Double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, all into that same chain 2 space to create the corner. Now we're going to double crochet into each of these 6 double crochet stitches of round 2. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we'll create a corner. So into this chain 2 space, we're going to double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Okay. Now we're going to put 1 double crochet into the next 5 stitches and then 2 in the last one to kind of mirror the beginning of the round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 double crochets into that last stitch. 1 and 2. So that's it for round 3. Let's cut our yarn, fasten off. So we have tails hanging out all over, but you can see round 3 there. Now round 4 is just about the same. We're going to start with attaching the yarn with a slip stitch to our hook and attaching it into the first stitch of the previous round with a slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 3 or chainless starting double crochet. Another double crochet stitch into that same space, into the same stitch. Then we're going to double crochet into each of these stitches here until we get to the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we were at the corner, we will double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, just like the last round. Now we'll double crochet into each of these 8 stitches along this edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're at the corner. We're going to double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And finally, we're going to work 1 double crochet into each of these stitches and then 2 in the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 2 double crochet stitches into the last stitch. And this keeps the number of stitches even on the sides, even with the full hexagons. So when we join it, we're matching up stitch for stitch, and they're easy to join. So we're going to leave a long tail when we fasten off so that we can use that tail to join the hexagon to its friends in the blanket. So there we go. Our half hexagon is finished. And if you missed the joining tutorial on the full Happy Hours hexagon blanket, you can find that at the end of the hexagon video. So now we're going to talk about the border a little bit. For the border of this blanket, if you used a 5mm hook like I did for your main blanket, use a 4mm hook for the border. So whatever hook you used, just go down 1mm in the hook size. And this will help prevent the border from becoming wavy. So to start the border, I used about a half a cake of Lion Brand Mandala for my border on this blanket. Half a cake in the colorway Arendelle. It was missing all the pinks, so I just have the blues. So to get started, attach the yarn in any of the hexagon stitches of the full hexagon. Don't attach it in the half hexagon for now. Just attach attach yarn with a slip stitch in any of the hexagon stitches. And you'll chain 1 and single crochet into each stitch, 1 single crochet all around the blanket. And except for when you get to the half hexagons, you're going to notice that the double crochets here are kind of sideways. So along the long edges of the blanket, we have half hexagons that have double crochets kind of laying flat along the edge here. So you're going to work 2 double crochets into each of those, 2 single crochets into each of those double crochets. One into the top of the stitch and one into the bottom of the stitch. So 2 double crochets into the end of each, 2 single crochets into the end of each double crochet. And then I also like to single crochet into the ring along the end of the half hexagon. And that helps keep the border straight instead of kind of dipping in when you're working around these half hexagons. Also, I worked 3 single crochet stitches into each corner, but I kind of stopped doing that as the rounds went out, just to prevent waving. So work 3 stitches into the corner if you feel like you need it, if the corner's feeling tight and curling. If you're getting some waving happening in your blanket border, just crochet 1 single crochet stitch into each stitch, even on the corners. And when you get to the short ends of the blanket, the hexagons kind of have this natural up and down pattern here, and that makes this nice little wave on the short ends of the blanket that I think is really cute. It's kind of a ruffle. Nothing fancy here, just 1 single crochet stitch into each stitch all around. And when you get to the end of the round, don't fasten off, just keep going, work in a continuous spiral. I worked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds. And I think it actually worked out to be about 6.5 rounds because I wanted to use up the whole cake of mandala. If you do find that your border is getting wavy or ruffly, go down even another hook size to like a 3.5 or even smaller if your blanket border is getting wavy. You can block it if you want. I didn't need to block mine. Smoothing it out worked pretty well, just smoothing it out with my hand. So that's all. I hope you enjoy your Happy Hours blanket. As always, thank you for listening and happy crocheting.